My name's Catherine McBain. I'm a consultant clinical oncologist here at the Christie Hospital, and I've also been pathway director for the brain and CNS pathway for Manchester Cancer since its beginning a number of years ago. Our history of user involvement on our pathway board goes back well over 12 months now. We were very keen to ensure that we had user involvement at all stages of the pathway because brain and CNS cancers cover an enormous spectrum of disease. And while we had had patient involvement previously, I was very aware that that was just one individual with one experience, and it was also asking a very great deal of them to come to all the meetings. And so when the user involvement group was developed and the opportunity to invite a wider representation of patients to become involved, I was very happy with that and felt that that was a very positive step forward for brain and CNS services in Manchester. Our involvement began, as I've said, just over 12 months ago, and we began initially by making patients who were coming to our follow-up clinics aware of this opportunity.
My name's Mark Hudson. I sit on a small community for brain CNS, and I am an elected patient representative on a subgroup. I was approached by a specialist nurse in one of my follow-up appointments. They'd asked if I would like to be involved, and I thought, yeah, fantastic. Christy had given me a lot. I wanted to see if my experience could help other people. I had a meeting with a member of the user involvement team and a specialist nurse. They explained a little bit about what they wanted me to do and what I could be part of, and we took it from there. I attended an induction at the Christie itself with Macmillan, learnt about how Macmillan had built up, what they do for people. I met some patients, I met other carers for the first time as well, and then decided what route through patient involvement and user involvement I would like to take. So after we'd established our small community, we democratically elected between us who we thought was going to be the best representative for clinical pathway board and patient experience pathway board.
Yes, I think it does, because I think there's a real feeling that it is really a democratic process, that it's not just one person's opinion, that they have discussed whatever issues, and we make an effort to try to get the pathway board agenda to the small community in advance of the pathway board meeting, so that the small community has had a chance to look at it, read it, consider it, form an opinion on it, convey that opinion to the pathway board representative, who then comes to the pathway board meeting. So it feels very communicative and very democratic and very inclusive, and I think that's a major strength of it as well.
I put myself forward for the patient experience group. I have been 9 years now not diagnosed, come across many people, many different stories. There were people in the small community that seemed more suited for a clinical pathway, very passionate and articulate about the clinical side of it. Myself, I wanted to be involved in a more humanistic aspect of it. When you first are part of the small community or somebody new joins, there's a lot of passion. Sometimes there's a lot of anger. Everybody's had positives and negatives. It's a really personal and a hard journey. But I think after maybe a little while, people look at a wider picture, a more general picture, and hopefully are looking at everybody's sort of need.
I think the real benefits are to bring the diversity of patient experience, because although we perhaps as professionals have an idea of the sort of the idealised patient pathway, it's not always like that. And I think what patient and user involvement bring is a real breadth of experience of the whole pathway, from diagnosis to community and everything in between. I don't think it does clinicians any harm to keep being asked difficult questions. And I think there are very difficult questions about particularly care beyond hospital, care in the community, rehabilitation. All of those resources are quite stretched. And I think it's good to keep the focus on the whole pathway, not just the bit where people are in frequent contact with hospitals.
When you go to the first meeting, you certainly do have apprehensions, but I feel like I've been listened to, and when you see those things actioned, we've actually seen some things put in action, then yeah, fantastic, and you know that you are making a difference.